Hey guys, Mas Sajady here. Welcome to Mas on Sundays. This is Mas Sajady, and well, it's every day we get every time we do this we get new callers or new listeners to welcome. Happy Mother's Day. A lot of things going on in the world. So what is Moss on Sunday? Basically, it's Moss on Sunday. It explains life. It's life explained. It goes into the top level reason or the top level understanding on why your life is the way it is or why the world is the way it is, and then gives you solutions, real life solutions, tangible solutions, not etheric solutions, not like science type solutions that might work for a while, and then they realize that shit. You know what? Our science was wrong, or spirituality where you have to have faith. No, these are just straight logistical solutions that help you. So, by the way, gorgeous view. Thank you so much. If you've got comments, reading your comments as we go along. Yes, I'm out here in beautiful Wisconsin. Beautiful friend of mine here, just hanging out. So just hanging out, chatting on Mother's Day here. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all those who are mothers and who have a mother, right? We wouldn't be here without mothers. So let's give them a shout out. Um, and I was saying this on a 18-day hyper meditation where we change your life in 18 days, literally in 18 days. That we've lost track of what a mother is, literally, and that's one of the issues, one of the biggest issues with society today. We've lost track of who we really are, what we do as humans. I mean, being a mother is really it's really quite amazing. I mean, to have to give birth to another being, from within yourself. That's an amazing gift, and it's not just an amazing gift. Like, yes, we should be blessed, have gratitude and all that, but no, look at the logistics of what it takes for a being to have another being in you and then give life. Okay? It's just that the evolutionary process that made that happen is fucking amazing. It's just like way beyond, say, the magic of science. It's way beyond that. It's quite literally beyond, say, belief, right? Just to look at that. Look at you as a human form. That's quite an amazing feat as well. We've forgotten who we are. We're more interested in what's happening to Johnny Depp and all that stuff, but we should go back into our eternal self. Which brings me back to Tony Robbins' book, Life Force. Right? And again, it's a fantastic book. Tony does fantastic work, but there's lots of things missing in his repertoire. Same thing with Joe Dispenza, Sadhguru, and all those other individuals. Not knocking them down in any way, but what is the one key component that's missing? And that's all I'm saying. There's a key component that's missing in a lot of those works. What is that? It's the XI factor. It's becoming exponentially intelligent. And again, fantastic work. Leadership skills, fantastic work. Religion's fantastic work. But why isn't it solving today's problem? Why are we still ill? So we're going to jump into the book review, and then right afterwards, we are going to scan, or I'm going to scan two individuals. Just to show you how powerful we all are. We all have these abilities, by the way. I'm kind of freezing my ass off here. Got a little cold. Alrighty. So anyway, Tony Robbins' book, what he does in his book and what he's done in his book and how his book has come about is that he's been, severely ill a couple times actually. He's been severely ill. And, he went to his doctors and he, the doctor said, hey, you can't do this anymore. And he said, well, the fuck I can't. And then he started to, pull all these great, because of his, connections. He pulled all these great doctors together, great researchers together, Peter Diamante and some of the other, expert leaders on, say, what's out there, what's possible out there. So he talks about a lot of new modalities. He says precision medicine that's out there, right? But yes, and they're really fantastic. Those are the medicines out there can bring you back to life. Absolutely, I totally agree. With the book. on some of the processes that are out there, especially if you're aging, or you've had some kind of accident, or you have some kind of handicap. I would even suggest, they even talk about CRISPR technologies where, they have, a chip in the brain, basically, that they put a chip in the brain, and they help you, again, over certain diseases. Those are all really fantastic. But the question and the big thing that's really missing, right? And it's not just this decade. A decade ago, there was a brand new technology that basically did the same thing that Tony Robbins is reviewing now. Right? There was something else, this great thing that science comes out with the decades before that, back in the 50s, right? Something grand came out. It's like, yes, if we did this, it's going to be the end all, the fix all of everything in life. And yet we're still in the same way. If you look at society today, despite all the technology out there, despite the advancements of medicine, technology, supplements, whatever it is, why are we the unhealthiest as a society? Why are we the unhealthiest as a society despite, one, our wealth? Because they say, if you're wealthy, wealthier nations have to, give me one second. Wealthier nations, are better off, and they are better off. But here, in the U.S., I'm here in the U.S. The U.S. is number 34 as far as its health of its citizens. Why is that? Right? Why are there people starving? Those are the things. So why does that happen? Right? Why does technology, again, the advancement of technology, have led to more and more and more and more individuals with diabetes, heart disease, and all the other issues that we have in an advanced society that we've never, ever had before. So with Tony Robbins, he's saying like, well, we need more technology, more precision medicine, and this is going to be the grander scheme. Him and Peter Diamante, but is it going to happen? Is it going to work? What's key? What's missing? Right? And I'm here to tell you what's missing. Again, the book overall is really fantastic for those individuals who need a solution, who are like off the charts, who are say more ill, and it just makes it easier for them. But the one key is missing in all of that is the component of our natural self. And I open that up with being a mother, right? The evolution of becoming a being that can produce life, right? That's millions, almost billions of years of evolution that have evolved us into, say, a being that can actually do that with high level intelligence. That component is missing in the technologies that we create, even AI. That component is missing in Tony Robbins' book. It's like you need something outside of yourself, and this is the problem with society in general, not just the book. In society in general, we're always looking outwards to solve our problems. We're looking for a God to solve our problems. We're looking for our government, our politics to solve our problems. We're looking for our parents. We're looking for a new idea, a new drug, a new whatever to solve our problems. We'll never solve our problems because if we're always looking outside of ourselves, it's a never-ending cycle. Get it? We're here, we're looking out here, we have to jump here, and then again, it just perpetuates that cycle. And that's why we've gotten further and further and further away. That's why we're getting more ill than ever. Right? Grab a hoodie, dude. Maybe I will. Anyway, so the point is that again, you're not going to solve, you're not going to become a healthy nation, a healthy individual, by, there we go. You're not going to be did Tony Robbins heal himself? Actually, here's the other thing with Tony Robbins' book. Again, I actually had a chance to visit him in Amsterdam, not one-on-one. I was doing an event, he was doing an event. I go, and he helped me a lot when I was younger. I used to listen to his books and stuff like that. Again, a great mentor back in the day for me, like many other mentors. Really fantastic guy. So out of respect, I stood up in the audience and I go, Tony, I hear, I see that you're sick, because he was wheeled out in a wheelchair. He was that ill for his own event. I said, hey, you know what, I can help you. I never got a chance to really connect, um, but I did write him a note saying, hey, Tony, you've got this and this and this, because with my abilities that you'll see in a very short time, working on a couple people afterwards, you'll see what I can see. Like, I can pinpoint anybody just like that and go, oh, this is what's wrong with you. Despite doctors, despite technology, despite anything, we all have these abilities. And it's a great opportunity for you to see that for yourself, especially for those who are new. So I wrote him a note, listing exactly, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I'm not a doctor in any way, but I just scan and analyze individuals. And months later, again, whether it was a note that helped him or me working on him through his nurse or whatever that helped him. But months later, he goes, yeah, these are the things that were wrong with me. And he came back. So again, I'm not taking credit for that, or it could help, but whatever it is, the thing is, it was accurate on, what was going on, which was really cool. My point is, the reason why I share this story is that, well, how did I know what was going on with him? That's the thing that we need to tap in. That's the thing that's missing in his book. That's the thing that's missing in any medical instance that we do here. It's always something, you need this. No, you need to go inwards. You need to have that inner expansion of self. You need to understand the billions of years of evolution that created you to this point and get back on track to your natural intelligence, as I call it. Your natural intelligence on your self healing. Okay, all the things that Tony talks about, again, will help you if you're ill and so on like that. But it's a perpetual, it's that perpetual thing that you have to take more. You have to take more. So Tony, and he says it himself, he's on a shitload of vitamins, just the way, what's his name, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, again, he's a health freak, wants to stay young. Nobody wants to get old, that fountain of youth. So is more medications and so on really that fountain of youth? No, because you have to take more supplements, more of this, more of that, more injections, more and more and more, just to keep you, say, sustainable. Is that the way to go? Of course, if that's the way to go, if that's the only thing that's out there, I mean, it's fantastic. But the real deal is that you're naturally, inherently self-sustaining yourself. Right? So here's a couple of problems that exponential intelligence physics, or becoming exponentially intelligent, will allow you to do. For example, one, it allows you to, and it's all about, if you want to get really, really scientific, and it might blow some of your minds off, it's all about space and time. So let me say that again. Your health and everything that's wrong with you is all, it boils down to one. Elon Musk would say, the first principle. Okay, the first principal reason why you are ill is because of space and time. You are out of space, or out of a reality, and out of time. You are in a simulation of yourself. Okay? Over time, and let me just explain before you go, oh shit, let's turn the channel. You are in a simulation of yourself that is ill. So what does that mean? Over generations and generations and generations of evolution of your family process, heart disease, for example. Your great grandmother had it. For some reason, it started out. It's in your genetic makeup, and it just keeps reproducing itself over and over and over. And that's why more and more individuals are ill, despite the foods, the malnutrition in the foods that we eat, and society, and pollution and all that. Despite all that, the real reason why we're getting more and more ill, and our body structure is off. It's Some of the bodies that you see out there should never look that way. Human bodies were not made to look like that. Why is that? Again, genetic engineering or ill genetic engineering. We can get back, we can reclaim ourselves on that through awakening and resetting ourselves. And that's what exponential intelligence does. Again, exponential intelligence allows you to literally go back in time and reset yourself to the standard of what humans should be, not the evolutionary process of, say, what your family has transformed into and what society has transformed into. So what does that mean? Is like that seems so far-fetched. Nature does it, fucking does it all the time. Nature evolves to its top level. It never carries forward the diseases. In 1 or 2 generations, say, a lion family or the squirrel family has heart issues. In 1 or 2 generations, that heart issue will be, say, eradicated through genetic structure, right? Through evolutionary process, through that natural intelligence that's inherently within us. The key is it's within us. Right? We need to awaken our natural healing propensity to be the best possible self. In fact, we're coded, our genetic makeup is coded to be our best version all the time. But in humans, it doesn't work that way because we think our best possible version is becoming X, which isn't that at all. So we've, say, moved away from the billions of years of technology to go towards another direction, which is supposed to be better for us. And now we're seeing that it's really not. Okay? So overall, and we'll make this an experiential experience. Let's take a deep breath in. What can you do with 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 the migration of exponential intelligence and then life force? Well, you can do a lot of things. One, and here's another thing on people, and you've seen people who eat really, really healthy. The other solution is people go, well, you got to go get back to organics. You got to go do this, and you got to, go back to organics, go back to simpler times, and so on. But the aging process is still within you. Your genetic makeup is still following you, right? So those individuals, and you see them, those individuals are, they're aging better than, say, most, but they're still aging. They're still getting diseases with like their family. Those things can be stopped as well. Right? And the proof is, well, me. And then there's, tons and tons of other people who have, again, aged younger. And those of you on the call here, on the show here, chat. Notice how you've transformed, right? Over the years, you've gotten younger. You don't look like your parents. You don't age like your parents. You don't have to lose your body shape like your parents. And again, that's all with XI. Do you need good food? Yes, absolutely. Do you need, some of the effects that Tony Robbins talks about? Absolutely. But the main structure that I'm talking about is, again, awakening your natural self, your natural healing ability to stay useful, to stay brilliant. It doesn't come from an outside source. It does not come from an outside source. It's an awakening of self. How do you do that? There's a lot of science behind it, by the way, for those who are scientists out there. And I'd love to connect with some of those scientists that, was in Tony Robbins' book. So if you're hearing that, call me, connect me, and I can guide you even deeper on helping your resources or whatever that you're doing, in the medical facilities, to go even deeper into, say, understanding, say, the technology, the natural technology that we are within ourselves. So again, so one, there's a lot of great information in Tony Robbins' book. Two, without XI or with a connection with XI, doing XI and Tony Robbins, it's a fast way to turn around. For those individuals who are, say, healthy, right? We're naturally healthy, but are going to age like their parents. XI would be fantastic for you to transform that. Right? For those individuals who are, say, not healthy, you have whatever it might be, diabetes, or you have some sort of issues, or whatever it might be, you would need XI to, again, reset your structure to go, hey, you know what? There's another simulation of me here. That is not disease. There's another simulation that of myself here again, space and time, that tells me that I don't have to age like my parents. And then once you remove that, you can use some of the concepts in Tony Robbins' book, like the telomeres or injections or whatever that it might be that out there to reclaim yourself at a faster level. Again, I'm not saying that Tony Robbins' book sucks. It's just that the biggest thing that's missing is yourself awakening your internal healing, a genie that's within you. How do you awaken that natural genie within you? Well, you do XI. You become exponentially intelligent. Simple as that, and it doesn't take long because it's not about time and space. It literally is about you, and this is where future medicine, like Einstein said, the future of medicine is the future of frequencies. That's what he was talking about. You change your frequency, you start to change your life radically. It doesn't take years. People have transformed their lives, right? From addictions. They don't have addiction. They literally can cut it off just like that without any withdrawal symptoms. That's how fast a XI can work. And again, those individuals who've gone through that, right? Comment in. Those individuals who've gone through that, comment in on how fast you've transformed those individuals who they look, decades younger within, a period of weeks. It's amazing how you can transform. And those individuals, again, who are becoming useful using, say, space-time technology, exponential intelligence, you start to see that you not only are looking younger, but here's the difference. Those people who are healthy and they're aging, right? You can still see that their skin is still aging. They might look younger, they might look healthier, but they're still aging, right? What I'm talking about literally is like you're 61 and you look in like your mid 40s, right? Like me. And there's plenty of other people. I can tell you about a lady. She's in her 70s, and her lab results her lab results come back as she's a 30-year-old. And they're looking at the lab. It's like, you can't be 70. Do you have a mistake on, is your birth date wrong? It's like, no, I'm 70. It's like, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, I know this guy called Mas Sajady, and he does XI, exponential intelligence. And there's more and more stories like that. Again, so with the integration, that connection between what XI does, again, awakens your inner ability to heal yourself from anything. People have recovered from diseases that, doctors have given them. It's like, you've only got weeks to live, and they've recovered. That's how fast people can transform with exponential intelligence. I'm not saying that I can cure you. I'm not saying that, XI is, 100%. It depends on how awakened that you become. Just like anything else, it's all really up to you on how awakened you naturally are. All right. All right. Again, some of the questions, the True Woman Show, that'd be interesting to be on there. People who, again, comment in on some of those individuals, who have really, say, gone back. My body feels way better than when I was in my 20s. Absolutely. And again, you're not taking shitloads of, supplements and this and this, and it's not that perpetual thing that you get tired, right? You get tired of, waking up taking like 90 vitamins. That's a full freaking hour in itself, and your body can't consume that. But what if you could revamp yourself, reset yourself back into, say, in this case, the early 20s? Where you were naturally healthy, you were naturally vibrant. I've done that. In fact, there's more and more studies, and we are doing more and more studies with physicists with my abilities. Now, again, you have the same abilities that you can naturally, say, set back the clock, your cellular clock. That's where it all comes from. You can do that doing the 18-day hyper meditations. You can do that with the hyper advanced, say, meditations that we do. It is available for you. Okay. All right. So I'm 44 and get guys in their 20s asking me out. There you go, the True Woman Show. So yeah, absolutely, because you look more and more vibrant, and it's not just a physical vibrancy that's there; it's that inner glow of youth. If you look at, say, a young person's skin, if you look at a young person's skin, they have that vibrancy of youth, right? You can't get that doing telomeres or anything else. Well, how can you do that? By literally resetting your cellular clock to a younger age, and that's what I do. I know it sounds way out there because it is. It's very advanced technology that, say, medical science will start to, say, understand in about, say, 2 or 3 decades from now. But it's happening here today. And with the amazing technology that Tony Robbins brings in his book, you can even, say, reclaim your youth even faster. All right. So I believe we have two guests that I'm going to scan to see what's going on with them. Let's bring them on, if we can. Hello.
Hi, Mas.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine. Thank you for having me here today. And hi, everyone.
Hi. And by the way, Nay, it's Nay, right? Anyway.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Alrighty. All right. So you don't mind me analyzing you, scanning you in public, and using this for to help others. Uh,
It's fine as long as we don't go into many personal details. It's
no.
fine.
So no worries. Yeah, the private stuff. No, I never share that just between you and I.
Okay.
Although I can see anything in pretty much anybody. Yeah, the private stuff. Don't worry about that, Nate. Just the overall general
Sure, sure,
knowledge
sure.
that we can share to help others. So take a deep breath in, Nate. Just tapping into you, see what's going on. Um, and have you done XI in the past? I know I've never talked to you, right? I've never seen you
No,
or.
this is all new to me, really. I've seen two videos so far,
Oh,
and
okay,
I've just been waiting for this scan for today,
okay.
basically. I
Oh,
was looking
beautiful.
for something different, and this came on my way, so
Okay, very
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. So, physically, do you have issues like in your mid upper spine? From what I'm seeing, your mid upper
I have
back.
arthritis in my neck and
Okay,
yes, in my spine. I had a car accident when I was 17,
okay.
and I think that's affected.
It has. It has. And that I was just going to ask you if you had, say, a near-death experience, because when I
Yes.
see you, and these are all the facets that, like medical diagnosis or anything psychology or anything can't really figure out. These are, say, frequencies or patterns or, your general, say, blueprint of life that gets distorted or messed up
Mhm.
when you have issues like this. So it seems like you've had to not just a car accident. It seems like at a younger age, you almost had a near-death experience too. Or when was your car accident? I want to say around 12 or 13. Did you have a near-death experience from what I'm saying? Yeah.
Um,
Um, or you
it's
wanted to,
possible. I just remember having a lot of anxiety. I do remember that.
yes. So around 12 or 13, let's just say that anxiety comes from you slipping out of your body. Does that make sense to you? You feel uncomfortable in your body. Does that
Yeah,
make sense to you?
yeah,
And then what happens is like when you're around people, you feel even more uncomfortable. Does that make sense? Especially when you're
yeah,
younger, right?
yeah.
So what is that? Why does that happen? Well, just say you're like an electrical unit, like a light bulb. Say you're a light bulb, okay? Other people's light and their light bulbs too, other people's light come into your light bulb and it distorts your frequency. So if you're hanging out with, say, sick people, like you might have, like a grandma or a great grandma or somebody like that when you were younger, you would absorb their frequencies. Does that make
Yes,
sense to you?
yes,
And
absolutely. Mm.
I talk about that because, and again, science would not pick this up at the current level that it's at. So, was there a grandmother or a mother that was older when you were 8, 9, 10? that was kind of ill that hung out with you, or you took care of, or it was around in your house?
Um, it's actually how to explain this. It was my mother, but for me, it was my grandmother because my sister, she brought me up. So I always
Okay.
saw my mother as my grandmother.
Okay, that's
I
what,
know
yeah,
it
that's
sounds
what's
strange, but
confusing me. That's what's confusing me as well. Okay,
yeah.
that's perfect. But when you see your mom, okay, and this is how genetics works, guys. When you start to see your mom and she's ill or she's incapacitated at some level, does that make sense to you? And you're a young girl of between 8 to 12 years old, it messes you up because it's like, oh, it literally imprints your DNA going, that's the way I'm gonna age, right? Because that's how DNA learns, right? That's how you learn. In fact, there was a great science study on gnats. Uh, thanks. That's it, and by gnats I mean they put these gnats in a jar, okay, and they put them in there for like 3, 4 days, and then what happened? They break the jar. Okay, the gnats stayed within, and gnats are like tiny bugs that fly around. The gnats stayed in within the framework of the jar, although there was no jar. They learned to stay within that. Their offspring within that did the same thing. They stayed within the framework. They were free to fly around anywhere else, but again, they formed the shape of a jar without the jar being there. That's how, again, DNA works. Same thing with humans. Obviously, we have more intellect, but again, it's the same thing with humans. So take a breath in, Nay. Notice your back. And again, I'm not claiming to cure you, but you know, and this is where you feel older than your age as well. You're very beautiful, but you feel a lot older than your age, if that makes sense for you. Or you have
Ever since,
diseases or issues that aren't of your age. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like your
I guess the
arthritis.
pain in my body, yeah, feels like of a much older person. Yes,
Right. Well, how old are you? Can I ask?
I
Do you
am
mind?
50.
You're 50? Okay, you look great for 50,
Thank
by the
you.
way. But, when I see you, I see you body wise, and here's the rub for you. You look younger and you look great for 50, but then why does your body feel like it's a lot older than 50?
Yes,
Does that make
yeah,
sense? Again,
yeah.
those are time references. One, I'll give you some scenarios for you and then we'll wrap it up. By the way, I'm just working on you. By the way, frequency wise, I don't know if you can feel it,
Yeah.
especially like in your midsection here. I think you can feel things moving around. Okay. These are again frequencies that I'm generating that'll help you shift, help you reclaim yourself, help you reclaim your bone structure, and I'll get to the specifics on it, but I'm just trying to get the underlying value or the underlying reason why you are the way you are. One, you're a younger individual, again, 8, 9, all the way into puberty, looking at, say, your mom, observing your mom's environment. You absorb your mom's environment. Okay, you're a young girl, and then you don't go through puberty quite right because at a DNA level or a genetic level, it's like, wait, why am I going through puberty if I'm older already? So it messes when you went through puberty, so your menstrual cycle and so on like that might have been messed up back in the day. That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Because you're not a young girl at 12, 13, 14 years of age.
No.
You're an older person because
Yeah.
you inherited or you are resonating with your mom's say experience, not your experience. Plus you worry a lot about other people as well. You tend to gravitate towards people who are generally older that you have to worry about or you have to take care of, by the way. That's your say romantic type relationships, and we can work on that as well. Take a breath in, and this is just not for Nay, but for other individuals who are similar to that. Um, by the way, we do this on the Mother's Day event coming up next week, I believe, as well. Helping you reclaim whatever that you got from your mother that you shouldn't have, and then bringing in the good stuff from your mom. So notice your spine, notice your neck, especially on top. So again, a younger individual with Even if you were younger, like in your 30s, you would have, again, problems of an older individual or diseases of an older that would be when you were older, right? So,
Mm.
um, so by the time you got into your like late 20s, early 30s, you start to go, it's like, holy shit, I'm aging faster than I should. I'm losing my life faster than I should. I haven't experienced life at its completeness. Does that make sense to you so far?
In my body, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what you do is it's like, no, wait, I want to stop this aging process. So at a deep, and you've got nice abilities, by the way, at a deep level, what you did is like you stopped the physical aging process. So that's why you look younger. But then emotionally, you look younger, like a person that would have experienced a 30-year-old. So emotionally, you're not a 50-year-old. Emotionally,
Yeah,
you're
that's it.
more of a 30-year-old. You wouldn't gravitate or you would be more comfortable with people around, say, 30, 35 years of age.
Yeah.
So, and this is what I was talking about, guys. This is what I was talking about editing time frames for you. Okay. So she's done it, and this is what we've done in the frequency spas and so on like that. It's like that mechanism that Nay accidentally, say, tripped upon is like stopping time frames or time references. At a cellular level, she literally slowed down her time frame on how she ages because that's the most important for her. But at a physical level, at a deeper, say, or organ level and so on like that, she's aging like her mom. And now she's like separating herself. She feels young, but she feels old and aged at the same time. Okay.
Mhm.
So with XI and what I'm doing here for you, Nate, is like, wait a second. You're 50 years old. You can still look like you're, in your, younger days, 30s, 40s. Again, you look great. Skin complexion. And this is what I was talking about as well. Your skin complexion is of a younger individual because your cellular identity will be of a younger individual. But so your physical features, again, your outward expression is of a younger individual. Your internal organs is of an older individual. Again, your
Yeah.
mom. Okay. So a
Yeah.
young girl basically trapped in an older body. Again, a young girl looking at her mom going, shit, I'm gonna turn into that. You just morphed into
That
that.
makes so much sense. Oh my God.
Okay?
Yeah.
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 So take a breath in, notice your spine. So again, these are all time frames, guys. Time distortions, time and reality distortions. Um, uh, there we go. Just give me 1 second here. I'm just helping you align your spine. Again, I don't claim to cure you, but once you awaken yourself and go, oh shit, that's what's happening. I'm actually a 50-year-old. And again, not a society's 50-year-old, not your family's 50-year-old, but a human version of what a 50-year-old would be. Again, a more useful version. You'll start to radically, say, transform yourself. Okay? Do you have any
Mhm.
questions, by the way?
Basically, I just wanted to say that I'm ready for my reset because I just feel I'm ready. I want to connect with my true self. It's just time.
Yep.
I feel like I'm going in the second half of my life. It's going to be a new
Yep.
phase.
Yep. Many people do that. They look for something different. They're really ready to go, shit, you know what? I just want a second chance on life because the
Yeah.
life I've had, didn't work out. Is there something better? And that's where they
Yeah.
gravitate to XI. Take a breath in again. Notice your spine. So, how are you feeling now?
Relax.
Yeah. How's your spine?
Like that weight is off my shoulders. I feel like usually I always carry like a lot of weight on my shoulders.
That's the burden of older people. So
Yeah.
it just in this, quick session here, one, you'll start to see that your spine might ache a bit because it'll start to reshape itself. Okay, you'll start to feel more, say, youthful. You'll go back
Mhm.
to again almost puberty time. You might even get your cycle or your menstrual cycle back because that's a sign of, say, youthfulness for you. I'd really like to connect with you. So if you don't mind, like maybe towards the end of the year, we always like come back as a reunion and see how your life is transformed. I'd like to
I would
keep
like
tabs
that.
on you. Yeah, because
Yes.
because you're one of those individuals that go, oh, I get it. And then your life radically just like flips around, changes, and you'll see not just your physical features, although what will happen for you is that you're gonna feel a lot older. Okay, just give you a heads up. And the reason for
Okay.
that is that you're expelling your mother's identity out of you. Obviously, your
Mm.
mother is a lot older, right? Probably in her 80s, mid 80s, from what I'm experiencing. Yeah. So you're gonna look in the mirror and go, "Oh shit, I'm seeing my mother in me. I feel a lot older." It's a good sign. Be happy about it because that's
Okay.
what's leaving you. And then in a very short time, you'll start to regenerate yourself at a youthful individual. And this is where some of your like your kidneys and so on are kind of like slowing down like an older person as well.
I feel like I've always had, ever since I was a kid, I always had like digestive issues and problems with my intestines, and that's something that comes and goes, and I haven't figured out yet, how
That's because
to.
it's your mom's digestive issues on.
And she
You're a
had as
young
well.
person. Yep,
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. Yep, you're a
Mm.
duplicate of your mom,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And
She
then
had a lot of
uh,
issues.
yeah. So those kind of patterns will start to come out for you.
Mm.
Again, they'll highlight for you. And then in a very short while, you'll go, wait a second, that's my mom's issues. I don't want that. So always confirm. It's like, yep, that's my mom's issues. When you start looking aged and you look in the mirror, it's like, God, I see my mom's. You have your mom's chin, from what I'm seeing. Um, yeah, this part of you looks like your mom. You look more like your mom from what I'm. Does that make sense to you? This part
Yeah.
of you looks more like your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never seen you. I've never seen your mom, but I can just see, genetic similarities.
Mm.
I'm pulling up your mom's genetic makeup. I'm pulling up your
Mhm.
genetic makeup. Your hip structure is of your mom's as well. Your shoulders are of your father's, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah. Does that
Yes.
make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I'm pulling your father's genetic structure up. So
Yeah.
so 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 it's not just that you look like your shoulders look like your father. In that area, if he has heart issues or whatever, you might have heart issues because again, that's part of you is his copy. Does that make sense? So over time, and this is what XI does, over time, it's like, wait a second, that's my father's version of shoulders. That's not Nay's version of shoulders. I want my own version, and then this is where your body starts to switch. You don't have to age again like your parents' shape and so on. It's really quite amazing. So I would, if you don't mind, hon, I would suggest taking like photographs, like once a month, until we meet up again, and you can
Okay.
just see the differences. I think it'd be a great proof for you and others.
Sure.
Okay. And I would highly recommend doing the 18-day hyper meditations. And you can
Okay.
still get onto it even now. It's like day 2 or 3 on that. After this mini session, hon, you're just going to be so ready to go.
I'm looking
Uh,
forward to that.
yeah. Any
Mm.
questions, hon? Anything you'd like to share? How accurate was that? I think that.
Uh, Very accurate. I mean, I'm still in shock actually. I was not expecting this kind of scan to be so accurate, but I'm glad because it went straight to what I needed to hear. So I'm very happy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I know what I need
that's
to
so
work on
beautiful.
as
And
well. So
yeah, and you're the person that now that you know what you need to work on, it just happens for you. And
mm,
you just let go so easy. It's like, yep, that's my old self. That's not me.
yeah,
Boom, you're gone. So
yeah.
congratulations on your new life. Nice job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome, honey.
I'm really
Thank you.
happy that I got this chance to be on today. This by itself is already, I find, a miracle. So thank you so much.
You're so
I'm
welcome.
very grateful for this.
You're so
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're
And
so
thank you,
welcome.
everyone, as well.
All right. So let's move on to Tom. Again, do you see how fast you can transform? Again, I didn't use any medical tools. I didn't use, gosh, anything, right? But it's an innate ability that we all have to help each other out. Not just ourselves, but to help each other out. Hey, Tom, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thanks, Mas.
Good. And it's okay for me to scan you just like I did Nay,
Yeah,
and
yes,
share it with
please.
the public. Awesome.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
well, tell me your experience with XI.
I feel more stable because I've been following your work for just over a year, and I'm definitely becoming more stable and solid in myself.
Awesome. And have we done any? I don't think we've done any one-on-ones, have we? Or
You did scan me very briefly on a Mas on Sunday last July.
oh, okay, okay. Like I just read, you know, like what people are doing now. It's like, hey, Moss, can you scan me? That kind of deal,
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
scanned you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, so how accurate was I? Because usually it's just like, hey, Moss, can you scan me? And you don't have to use your name or anything like that. So how accurate was that scan for you?
Oh, it was really accurate, and I think it really helped as well
Oh,
because it was
yes,
about me getting intermeshed with women, and that
yes.
hasn't happened since.
Okay. Okay. So what Tom is talking about, and again, this is why, you know, if you Moss on Sundays live for you, if you can make it, it's really fantastic, is that I do scan individuals and all you have to say is like, hey, Moss, scan me. And whether you use your real name or not, it doesn't really matter because I tap into your frequencies or your IP address, as I would call it. And and again, like Tom said, very, very accurate. And it's not just that I read you. I'm not like a psychic where I just read you and nothing happens. I literally help you change, you know, change your genetic makeup, literally. So back to you, Tom. I'm seeing from, I was just going to ask you what you've done, and that is that because there's an old version of you, and then there's this new version of you burgeoning, like blossoming. Does that make sense to you? Happening?
That sounds great. I found that encouraging to hear. Yeah.
Yes. But does that make sense to you? It's like, so what you would experience is like the old Tom would do X. Say like you get into a new experience. It's like you see the old Tom doing this, but then the new Tom does this. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So yes, so that's, you know, in the client journey, what you're doing, Tom, is like you're separating. So imagine that, you know, it's a lot easier, and this is why XI does, you know, works wonders for people, and it's so fast for you. Take a breath in and just notice your rib cage. Uh, Something going on with your rib cage, and we'll get to that. Um, this is where, like for example, it's a lot easier. Think of it this way. You know, your genetic makeup, it's like a house. And the house is like hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years old, right? Your genetics, you know, because it's like your forefathers, you know, you're the latest, say, when you were born, the latest version of your genetics. And again, it goes back thousands of years. So it's like working on a house that's 1,000 years old, you know, redoing the plumbing, redoing this and all that, right? It takes a lot of work. So what Tom has done is like, well, shit, I'll leave my old house here. I'm just going to build another house here. And that's, you know, so basically, again, you're leaving the genetics from what's here. You're taking what's good into your new house. And that's what I'm helping you with now. Does that make sense to you, Tom? So
Yeah.
that's why I say there's two versions of you. You're ready to release, again, the old version of you and just live completely into the new version of you. So that's where you are with just that little scan I did, you know, on Moss on Sundays. It seems, and if you can, if you don't mind me, if you don't mind sharing just from that, I don't know, what was it, a minute scan, how, say, your life has, say, changed. Do you mind sharing that with the audience, Tom?
Um, yeah, because I used to get that there were certain women who I sort of had, who I knew fairly well. I was sort of, even if I hadn't seen them for a while, they were sort of emotional charges I had with them would come up in my head and destroy my kind of peace of mind.
Yep, yep, absolutely. Also, other things with women as well. You not only, you know, get emotionally charged with, let's just say, distorted women. If you hang out with them, you would get their illness patterns. So you would be that person that if they had their menstrual cycle and it was a painful menstrual cycle, you would feel pain in your body as well. That kind of pattern. Does that make sense to you? Or like, you know, I'm sure you never experienced this, but say your wife was pregnant, you would have, say, pregnancy pains or whatever they call that. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Um, yeah. Or like say your mom had back problems. when you're a young kid, you might have had, say, back problems or aches. Is that correct for you?
Sure, yeah, because I'm getting quite a lot of joint problems, and my mum's certainly got a history of that as well. In fact, I'm a bit worried about that because I like to do physical training, and that helps me to manage my emotions. But I pick up so many injuries. I'm a bit worried I might have to stop doing it.
Yep, yep. No, you don't. Again, I'm not a doctor or anything, but what happens is that you, your mother is still connected to you. Is she still around, by the way,
Yes,
or?
yes,
Okay, so as she ages, and that's the key. So with you, Tom, just to put it just straight out, so we're clear on what's happening. Your mom's patterns, right? You, and we don't need to get into why your mom is like hooked onto you. But it just, well, briefly, it just seems like your father was never around or never complete for her, so she would have latched onto you as an anchor. It happens a lot to young men, by the way. The mother like starts to say create almost a duplicate of a husband, so to speak. If that makes sense to you. So you would be that support person for that mother, because that's where a lot of relationships are, right? I need a support person, that woman, and it happens for a guy, but in this case, it's a woman. I need a support person. And then over time, the marriage isn't there. It doesn't work out well. So the guy doesn't support her. So what does the mother do? Go back onto her children. It's a little more detrimental for boys because, again, the man, now he's the man in the family that has to support an older woman. Again, a mother. And it disillusions the mother, the mother-son experience, by the way. And that's why you would pick up or you would date women that you would have to nurture, so to speak. Does that make sense to you in
sure.
relationships wise? Right? Does that make sense? Or even bosses. You would have like women bosses that you would end up say nurturing, so to speak. Does that make sense or no?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, you guys see how your hereditary pattern or your DNA just starts to morph into or accommodate whatever's around your environment. So over time, again, your mom is still connected to you, and as she ages, her aging symptoms will become your aging symptoms, and this is where you'll start to get the same patterns, the same, say, midsection issues, the things with your ribs. Did she break her ribs or something?
No,
Um,
she's always had some digestive issues.
I just see like this part of her. Maybe it's her liver, but a really tightening of her the ribs or something. I don't know if you've had it or your mom has had it. Is but the key. Does that make sense too? Um, oh, okay. Her bottom rib. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. So the bottom ribs, the one, two, three, the bottom few ribs in her body, they're compressed. So the space between the vertebrae of her ribs are compressed. They're almost like fused together. And that's where a lot of her pains come from, by the way. So this area always aches for her. So what that means, again, I'm not diagnosing her, but what I'm seeing is that the nerves that radiate out of her in that from that area that go into her digestive issues are compressed or pinched, and that's where she has a lot of digestive issues. I'm seeing that in you. Does that have to happen to you? No, you're still young. So you can reverse that again, not just in one session, but if you did some sessions and again the 18 days or some other stuff, and stretching on a ball, by the way, Tom, or some of Tony Robbins stuff, you could literally reverse that and reset that. Hanging upside down for you is highly important because as she ages, basically she gets shorter and shorter. You don't want to have that happen because you're a heavier guy, by the way, and your physical your bones, somebody is saying yoga might help her. Yoga would help you as well. But your physical structure is more of a feminine frequency, but your weight is of a guy. So your physical structure, will compress that. Does that make sense? So your bone structure, even after the session, will start to shift and change for you. You'll start to get bulkier again from a guy's perspective. Although you're bulkier now, but that's just more physical weight. Your bones seem, say, not as robust as it should be for a guy of your stature. It's more of a, again, smaller bone structure. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, because as I say, I've picked up loads of sports injuries. Yeah.
That's why, because your muscles are big, your bone structure can't support the muscles or the muscles that are attached. That's why
Okay,
you might
sure.
have ligament issues, bone
Yeah.
issues, those that nature. That's why. So take a breath in, and that's because again, a feminine bone structure, again, women, and then a guy. And obviously this works with relationships, like you were saying, how relationships, come through as feminine. You hold on to women's burdens, even their pains. So those things we'll get rid of. Take a breath in, by the way. Just notice your midsection, notice your ribs. I would ask her. It seems like she did break some ribs uh, back in the day. Um, and it wasn't even like a heavy fall. It's just like she rolled over or something happened and it just, the ribs cracked or something. So, or she coughed and the ribs cracked. It feels kind of like that. Anyway, that pattern I'm seeing in you, so you can get rid of that pattern. Breath in, just noticing your lower ribs. How are you feeling, man?
I feel good. Bit spacey with it.
Yeah, because your version of who you are is coming into you. Do you have any questions as we end, or?
There's one thing I find. There's something. There's something wrong with my energetic boundaries. Like if body workers try and work on me, I can very rarely tolerate them unless they're very clean. I can't tolerate their work.
That's what I was saying, buddy. Especially if they're female, or if they're masculine and they're running a female frequency. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
If you hang around with a female, again, even if it's a guy running a feminine frequency, that feminine frequency will dump into you, especially in your midsection.
Okay.
And then you're going to get the pains of what
Yeah.
they have. You're going to get
Yeah.
the burdens of what they have. And that's why
Yeah.
you don't stay in relationships too long, or you stay away from relationships. It's like, shit, she's a beautiful woman and stuff, but it's no way, because I can see all the pains in her. That makes
Sure.
sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's where that comes from. So your energetic boundaries, as you call it, there is no boundaries for you. Women just like boom, float into you and they take over you. And like any relationship works that way. No matter how strong of a guy you are, women would just like boom, hey, I'm moving in, and you move out. So you're leaving all that stuff behind, like I said, like that old house. You're creating a whole new version of Tom here. So for you, in a very short while, you might not like women, and it's not like you're going to like guys, but you're not going to like women for what they've done to you. Again, all women. And again, it's got nothing to do with being aggressive or abusive towards women or anything like that, but you're just creating a boundary. So it'll feel like, I don't like her. The reason why you don't like her is because she's getting ready to push all her stuff in, and you're just going, no. That's why you're not going to like women that you are, say, around. Okay. And then as you create a boundary for yourself over a short period of time, what'll happen for you, Tom, is like women will gravitate towards you that don't want to push anything into you. They don't want to smash you down. They just want to hang out with you because you're a cool guy. Does that make sense? And then that's where you'll re-like women, so to speak. So it's really cool.
Great.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, no, thanks so much, Mas. That's yeah, it's great. Fantastic.
Yeah, so welcome. Yeah, and then again, I'd like to connect with you in a few months, so see how
Yeah.
you're doing. Okay, or our
Yeah.
team will connect with you, see how you're doing, and maybe they could just do a quick interview with you guys and see what's going on with you.
Great.
All right, buddy.
Great.
All right.
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks again.
You bet. All right, guys, did you, again, did you guys notice the underlying, say, underlying values on why life is the way it is? Again, medical technology is not at that level, although it's very, very good, but it's not at that level that we can really say transform our lives. So with XI and then the medical technology, we can literally gravitate to the higher levels. Let's just take some scans really quick, guys. This is Estefano. Hey, Mas, can you scan my progress? Yes. So again, you seem to be um, kind of like Tom, actually. You know, you've been burdened by some other people, and now you're, say, escaping or getting out. You're finding yourself. You're redefining who you are, which is really good. So congratulations on that. You're saying no to people, you know, in a kind way, not from a victim way, which is really strong, but you're holding your own boundaries. So basically, you have boundaries or you've created boundaries. You're not just going, I'm lost. I'm just gonna let other people. I'm just gonna follow other people. You're not like that. You're just going, fuck. You know, I'm going this way. And if they want to come along, they can. But if they don't, that's fine too. I'm happy the way I am either way. So really nice. This one, the True Woman Show. Can I have a scan, please? Yes. So you're actually turning into a true woman, by the way, and that's why you're doing it. You know. So the head area. You know, you've always been, say, more mechanically or more manly inclined, your point of view, and now you're starting to see, and you've forgotten your body basically back in the day. Okay, I might not be talking about now. By the way, if I scan you like this, please comment back. I know I'm accurate, but it just helps you and it helps others to go, shit, what did he tap into? So anyway, for the True Woman Show. So now you're pulling yourself, because a lot of women do this, by the way, and that's why we're going to do the women's event. Especially the Mother's Day event coming up as well. And then some of the other London events that we're doing. But what happens is women, they escape their bodies, especially if they've been abused or, you know, they might not like their body or anything like that. They just jump into their head. It's like, well, I'll be a man. It's just safer. It's more logical. It's just amazing. You know, just more, well, more successful because you'd have to have a man psychology, but you really don't. It's a myth. So now what you're doing with XI is like, wait a second, I am a woman. My body's here. I can be successful as a woman. I can be happy as a woman, not the old paradigm, not civilizations or society's paradigm of what a woman is. So again, the true woman that you're coming in to be. So congratulations. This one, is it El Yoga? Elia Yoga? Yeah. I would love a scan. Yeah. So you're actually turning into um, becoming, say, self-centered, from what I'm seeing. So what that means is that you step out of your body to please other people. You're always searching to please other people. If you were alone, for example, if you were alone, for example, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. You just like, who am I? What am I? What's my purpose? So your purpose would be, again, solving other people or stepping into other people to, say, nurture them. And it sounds really good, right? It sounds like, oh shit, that's Mother Teresa. But it's not really beneficial for you because you always have to step out of yourself to be who you are. Because like I said, you don't know who you are. So you always have to replicate somebody else, right? So in case you say you're married and so on like that, your life is non-existent. You live off your children, you live off your spouse and so on like that. Again, you're an empty, hollow shell here. In a very short time, what you've done is like you're absorbing yourself. It's like, wait a second, I can experience the pleasures of their life here in me. And now what you're doing is like you're building yourself back into like an identity, a solid identity of who you are. So congratulations on that. Bill Pierce, my right leg is a problem and hurts during the 18-day meditation. So this one, is it Bill Pierce? Yeah, Bill Pierce. So yeah, for you, again, not a doctor, not diagnosing anything like that. But it seems like as a child, you used to get ill. And that illness, and doctors couldn't find out what's wrong with you. It's more of creating an illness for you so you can say step away from, I think your mom, it seems like your dad might have had, say, alcoholic issues or, that kind of family stature. So what kids do, like you did, unfortunately, is like, well, I'll just create illness. And it's a safety mechanism. I know it sounds strange, but it's a safety mechanism where, it's like if you were healthy and so on like that, and this is where again kids pick up illnesses. If you were healthy, what you would do is like you would have to be involved in the family dynamics or the family frequency. You'd have to engage in that. Does that make sense to you? So for whatever reason, for you, Bill, it's like, well, shit, you know what? If I get ill, again, that's why I call it a safety mechanism for kids. When you're a kid, well, if I get ill, I can step out of that frequency and I don't have to engage in that because I don't want to be part of that, right? So again, you step away, and illness is an excuse, and this is where things again, kids create illnesses for themselves, unfortunately, and then you can see that every time you get stressed out, even now, what'll happen for you is somehow something will knock you down where you get ill. So you can release that, and that's what's happening. So you through the what you're doing through XI, and that's why your leg hurts, is like you're literally healing what's happening for you, the emotional value on why, say, your right side would hurt back in the day as well, if that makes sense. Um, Patricia Garth, hey Moss, can you help my partner and I manifest a new home with higher vibe? Sure. And again, the way you do that is like you increase your frequency, like you're asking, right? So I can increase your frequency, and if that is, if part of that raising your frequency is attracting a higher vibe home, like you said, yeah, of course. Um, yeah, absolutely. So take a breath in. And again, as I work on one individual, I'm working on others as well. Um, take a breath in. Um, just give me a second. Uh, yeah, so you're really ready to transition for whatever that you've done, whatever that you've done with XI. You're really ready to say move into a new place or a new identity. So I see that homecoming actually for you. Um, in about 2, 3 months. Actually, I can actually see, and as you say walk into that new place, or you start living in that new place, your old identity, you confirm your deletions, your old identity completely disconnects from you. So, this one is Moss. Could you help prep me for London, please? Not sure exactly what that means. How's my identity? Oh, Steffi XI. Yes, for you, Steffi. So again, we're coming to London. So you can take a look at massajady.com, look at that. But yeah, so what's happening for you, again, you and your mom were really, say, connected or entangled from what I'm seeing. Now there's a detanglement. Your mom's here, you're creating your identity. Sometimes we kind of trip and fall because what we should have learned back in the day when we were younger, right? We didn't, because again, we're creating a mom's identity. Now you have to relearn what you should have learned, like 12, 13. So sometimes you might feel like a young girl, like an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, because you have to go through that process. It's not magic. You have to reset that process for yourself, and that's what you're going through. So by the time, yeah, we come to London, you'll be ready to go, literally. And that's what you're doing. So a lot of things are like speeding up for you. So congratulations. All right, guys. Again, we could go on and on, but a lot of good things coming up for you guys, by the way. I'm also on Sundays. If you want private sessions, there's a waiting list, but get on the waiting list, and you'll see it's quite worth it for you. It might be a couple months out, but even if you say get on the waiting list, guys, you'll start to see the transformations happening for you. Kind of a crazy, it's an XI phenomenon. You'll start to see. So by the time you do have a session with me, a lot of those issues kind of get mostly resolved, and then we can further you further yourself rather than fixing yourself. We can move on to bigger and better things. So again, a lot of good things happening for you all. The XI phenomena is taking more hold. So again, if you can, please and share this with people out there for you. All right. Again, notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you're noticing. Peace.